Hi viewers, welcome to another edition of Mari Clinic Live. How are you today? I remain your host Marla Hanoputi. Thank you so much for joining us today for another edition of Mari Clinic Live. I hope we are all enjoying our weekend. Thank you to everyone who is always joining us. Subscribing to our YouTube channel. Thank you to our new subscribers. We really do appreciate you. Thank you to our revisiting subscribers as well. We do celebrate and appreciate you, and thank you to all our members in our group on Facebook. We do celebrate you as well. Thank you to the new joiners over there as well. We celebrate you all. This is Mary Clinic Live, and we are really making a lot of impact in the area of marriage, relationship, faith, and lifestyle. It's very important that you join us, you follow us, subscribe to our YouTube channel because you will be learning a lot from what we do here. You'll be learning a lot from what we do here. So today I'm going to be looking at an interesting topic that says, help, my husband is building a house and he cares less if we eat or we die. This is a very common complaint, that we get from wives at the clinic, at married clinic. So some women will come and say, what, even though my husband, is working in a good place, is a banker, is an accountant, is a doctor, is this, is that, he earns as much as 200,000 a month, 250,000 a month, yet we don't feel it that he's earning good pay, or we don't feel it that he's earning at least moderately well. So some of this wife complain that, oh, despite the fact that he earns almost 200,000, he drops only 3,000 naira or even 2,000 naira for a week for feeding and everything full stuff. 3,000 naira for a whole week, and for two kids plus herself with her husband making four. And when you hear things like that, you'll be wondering, okay, so if that is happening to you as a married woman, what is it that this your husband is using his money for, that you and your children cannot feel the fact that he is working? You cannot feel the fact that he's earning, or he has a source of income and a source of livelihood. So definitely he's using his money for something else, and after several inquiry, they will come out to say, yes, he's building a house, he has a site somewhere that is developing. And as a matter of fact, some of these husbands don't even tell their wives that they have a site somewhere that they are developing, or that they have a property, a land, or a building somewhere that they are developing. They don't have a prior discussion with her. She's not in the know. She is clueless as to the fact that the man is building a house, and she'll be wondering what is going on. How come we are suffering in the house? How come he doesn't put down feeding allowance? How come he doesn't care how we live, how we survive, how we eat, or whether we die? He cares less. All he's after is that is project, that is building project, and maybe his family members. That's all. Now we get a lot of this complaint, and see, it's something that happens a lot in this part of the world. I mean, in Africa, we get this. We hear things. We see all of these things happening, and see, it's not a bad thing that the man is trying to build a house, for himself or for the family. It's not a bad thing. That shows that future is future looking, is particular about ownership of their own building, so that rent can go out of their spending, and that is a very good thing. That in itself is not bad. However, you can't now say because you are building a house or you want to own a property, then you have to starve your wife and your kids. You don't make them starve to death just because you want to build an edifice. And for me, I'm very careful or leery of people that value that value buildings, value edifice, value cars, and material things more than human life. I'm very leery of such people, because I believe that human beings should come first. Human life should take priority, over those material things. So if you truly value your wife, you value, and if you truly value your children, you should equally pay attention to what they eat or what they feed on. You don't want to have a spouse that is unhappy with you, that feels that you are just punishing them for no reason, just because you want to acquire an asset, or you are striving towards home ownership. Now, striving towards home ownership in itself is not a bad thing, but you need to learn how to strike a balance so that they are not starving, they are not going out hungry, just because you are building blocks. You are building blocks, and you think that is all that has to do with life. No, if you are doing that, I tell you, you will not have a happy home. And that is why it is very important you carry your spouse along, you carry your husband along, you carry your wife along. As a man, if you are building, if you are striving towards home ownership, and you feel that 50% of your monthly salary or your monthly income will be going towards that building, you need to sit your wife down, explain to her, plan with her. See, it is not your right. You can't compel her to or force things down her throat to say, oh, because you are building a house, then she must automatically take responsibility for the running of the home and for all the financial expenses that needs to be incurred in the home. No, that will not be fair to her. So it is always good that you sit her down, carry her along, have a discussion, heart to heart talk with her, that, my dear, you know what, because we need to stop paying rent and I'm striving towards home ownership, I'm going to be using 50% of my pay to do this. So the remaining 50%, I want us, please, with your cooperation, I want you to help me to manage it, in running the home, in feeding, and other expenses, other home running expenses that we always incur in the house. And together with our own earning, if she's earning at all, or if she's not earning, then you need to consider the fact that she's not earning, and make sure that whatever it is you are putting down is adequate, at least is reasonable, is fair, and it will be adequate to feed your wife and your kids. For crying out loud, there is no point. I don't see any sense in we investing in buildings, in structures, when human beings are going about on the streets hungry, when the people you claim you love, your wife and your children, they are under your roof hungry. They don't have enough to eat. They don't have enough toiletries to use. They are just managing, and they are lamenting. I mean, young man, it doesn't make sense at all. So you want to revisit that your spending plan or your spending budget, because see, as it is now, especially in Nigeria, or if you're in any African country, you can understand that people are watching us, and people from Tanzania, from Kenya, from Ghana, Nairobi, and different countries of the world, from the US, Europe, they are watching us, that they are part of the group. See, if you are in Nigeria, you understand that the inflation rate is over 20% now. Yes, for food items. I think the last time I checked, it had 23%. So you can imagine, if inflation rate is about over 20%, and you are giving your wife 3,000 naira to for food, feeding, toiletries, running the home for 1 week, I can't see how that will be enough. And if she has 3 or 2 kids to take care of, so you are telling me that each of them is going to feed on 1,000 naira a day, which is practically less than $2 for a week. Not even $1 per day, $2, less than $2 a week. You are asking, each of them to live and survive on $2 a week. I mean, that will not be fair. If you are a man and you have the means, you have the resources, please prioritize their feeding, because if they don't eat well, if they don't feed well, I tell you, they will fall sick, and you will be forced to pay more for on hospital bills, than on feeding, because you are shying away from taking responsibility for their feeding. Rather, you prefer to spend that money on buildings. And I tell you, when they start breaking down due to ill health and because the kids are not getting enough balanced diet, you will end up spending that money you don't want to give to them for feeding. You end up spending it on hospital bills. You don't want to wait for that to happen to you. You don't want to wait for life to happen to you. That is why you must plan your life properly. You must plan your spending and give them enough to feed, to survive. Give them enough for home running expenses. And you can still plan to build your edifice or your structure or your house or your site with some percentage of your salary, but make sure you are doing that after you have taken care of their feeding, their school fees, the children's school fees, whatever it is those children need. Please make sure you've taken care of that first before you are now, pumping money into buildings, into structure, non-living things, things that are not breathing. You give priority to those things over your spouse and your children. Please, that is not good. Give priority to human beings, because see, these are the people that will be there for you in old age. And as a matter of fact, statistics has it that most children, by the time these children start growing up, they end up not living in the house that you build anyway as a parent. So why not focus on their education, on their feeding, on their livelihood and their well-being generally? Focus on that. And I tell you, when you focus on that, you yourself will be sure that you've secured your future, because you building houses now, building, putting all your money into buildings now and abandoning them will have a great repercussion for you in future, because these children will grow up knowing that, well, he didn't take care of us anyway. Our mothers struggled to take care of us, to raise us, so why should we now take care of him in old age? You don't want that happening to you. And for crying out loud, if you are a man, if you have a site or you're building, please carry your wife along. Have a heart to heart discussion with your wife. Women are very reasonable beings. If you discuss with them, learn to communicate with your spouse, discuss with her, tell her what your plans are, what your goals are, how soon you want the house to finish. And please, in taking this decision, consider her earning ability. Consider if she has the resources or she has the means to complement your effort or to supplement what it is that you are putting down. Because if she does not have the means, then see, it won't go down well with her, struggling to get the resources and the means with which to take care of the children. You as a man, please be responsible for your kids, be responsible for your spouse. And women, try to be understanding. See, your husband is actually doing this for you and for the family. If he's trying to build a house, it's because he wants rentage to go out of his expenses or his expenditure. So you to try to be understanding. Don't be wasteful as a wife. Try to manage resources. See, inflation rate is on the increase now, so you want to learn how to manage your limited resources. However, use communication to to tell your husband that, see, the money is no longer enough. Or at times you may want to take him along with you to the market. Let him also do the shopping at times. For example, I'm always grateful for the kind of man God gives to me, because see, he takes life like, it takes his life as nothing, because he believes that at any time, see, God can call us home. So he is willing to take that responsibility to even go and do the shopping at times. When he goes to the stores, he sees how things are increasing. He comes back to say, wow, this thing I bought last week or two weeks ago, the price has jumped up again. So that means he is living in the reality, that I'm also living in, so he is saying those things that I'm also saying. He's experiencing, the increment in prices that I experience each time I go, to shop. So when that is happening, when you go with them, or you guys, rotate it. He goes today, you may go tomorrow, he goes last week, you should go next week. When both of you, know, go to the market and see what is happening. You go shopping and you see what is happening. I tell you, there won't be so much fight about, oh, things are increasing, the money is not enough, because you and I both know that this money cannot be enough to buy the things that we need. So let's be involved in the home running activity. Let's be involved. Don't leave it to one party alone and be blaming her that, oh, she's wasteful, she doesn't know how to manage, she's this, she's that. Meanwhile, that 3K that you are putting down, please, is nothing. That 3K, as far as I'm concerned, is just for tissue paper. It's to buy toilet rolls for the toilet. I mean, you cannot now expect children to feed on that 3K. And no, please, it's not realistic. So if you are a man, if you are working and you are earning well, please let your wife have enough for feeding allowance. Plan and pay your children's school fees on time. Don't delay in paying their school fees. Don't make it a woman's thing. Except the woman is working and she's earning well, then please, woman, try and support your husband to see that all of these expenses are being met, they are being incurred. And that way, all this fight, these quarrels, we reduce it. Marriage is meant to be enjoyable. Marriage is meant to be peaceful, blissful, harmonious. It's not a wrestling ground. It's not a battleground. It's not a place for contest or for competition. So we need to understand this. See, and whatever it is you are doing in marriage, you are doing it for yourself. So if you think, oh, I can afford not to take care of them, or I can just give them peanuts and let them survive on peanuts while you are eating and living large out there, I tell you, all these things will show in your future. It will catch up with you. Life, it's life. If you understand life, you know that, see, it's about sowing and reaping. So you don't want to sow bad seeds that you end up regretting in future, and your children will be like, oh, he wasn't a good father to us anyway, he was a bad father. No, you don't want to be like that. And you know I believe that the men will make adjustment, and even the women, you need to make adjustment. Please, we need to learn how to manage our husband's limited resources. Don't be wasteful. Don't be wasteful. Only cook what you guys are able to eat and to finish. Not that you cook, in excess, you go and throw the rest away. Please, the economy now does not give room for that. So I'm going to be stopping here. Please, don't starve your children today. Don't starve your wife today just because you are building. We value and appreciate the fact that you are striving and working towards home ownership. However, we feel that human beings are more important than structures, and you need to give priority to your wife and to your children. I'm going to be stopping here now. I hope we have learned a lot. Please, do give us a like, do give us a comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we promise to bring you more interesting videos and topic. And please share this video, share it to as many people as possible. Follow us on our group page, my clinic, and also follow us on this YouTube channel. I hope to see you again another time. Till then, I remain your host, Marlai and Oputi, and I say bye bye.